Hi, and welcome to another episode of our Game Maker build where we are building a UFO asteroid style game. We left off with a black hole spawning two new large meteors once we had blown up the previous two large meteors. Before we can continue, however, we do need a few more sprites that we're going to be using. First of all, we do need a title screen. The title screen should be at least 960 by 640. Whatever program you're used to using, whether it be Photoshop or GIMP or any other type of image creation program, go ahead and build that. You should have the title and maybe some basic instructions on how the game runs. Wait till we finish all of the game build before you do come up with that, because there might be a few more keys you're going to want to include in those instructions. You're also going to need an enemy ship. The enemy ship should be 80 pixels by 50 pixels. You're going to need two buttons, a play button and a quit button. Those should be 100 pixels by 70 pixels. You will also need a few more sound effects to bring in. You're going to need a small explosion for when meteors collide. That could actually be a gunshot. That works very well for that sound. Enemy UFO rumble for when the enemy ship flies overhead. And last but not least, an enemy laser blast. The game is getting more complicated, so before we move on, we should also think about adding cheat codes. Cheat codes are important to any game build because it allows the developer to be able to pause elements of the game or to add more lives so they can test the game thoroughly without having to restart every time they run out of limited lives they have. So a couple of cheat codes that we're going to want to do is one is maybe freeze all of the meteors and it'll be easier to hit them. We also may want to have a cheat code to add more lives. We'll start by adding events to all three meteors. We're going to actually freeze the meteors from moving. So let's go ahead out to our objects. And we'll start with OBJ Meteor Large. And we're going to add a new key press event. And we're going to select the Alt key, which is also the Option key. That if we hit Option, that's going to freeze all of our meteors. Let's check that. We're going to drag the moved fixed into the actions. It's going to apply to self. We're going to click Center, and the speed is going to be 0. Not relative, click OK. We're going to add another event. This time we're going to do a key press, and this time we'll go with the Control key. We're going to move fixed actions into the actions. This will apply to self, and we're going to go ahead and click all of the 8 directions. And because this is the large meteor, we'll do a speed of 6. Not relative, click OK. So basically, Option key will stop the meteors, Control key will start them moving again. And click OK. We're going to repeat these for the other two meteors. So we'll go to Meteor Medium, add event, key press, Option, self, center, 0, OK. Add event, key press. This time it's the Control key, self, speed of 10, OK. Goes there, OK. Now for the small meteor, add event, key press, center to self, OK, and one more event, Control key, self, all directions, and the speed on the small is 15, not relative, OK, OK. Let's go ahead and save our work, Command S, and we'll go ahead and test the game. So if I hit the Option key, they all freeze. If I Control, they start moving again. If I do shoot and hit a meteor, you're going to see the small meteors move again. So if I want to stop those, I have to hit Option again. So I'd have to hit Option a second time. Let's go ahead and set our UFO cheat code while we're at it. Let's go ahead and go to OBJ UFO. And we're going to add a new key press for that one too. Let's add event. Key press. Let's go ahead and set this to a number. We'll actually go, if we hit the number 5, we're going to set our lives to 5. So let's go ahead and click on 5. We'll go to Score, Set Lives, New Lives 5, Not Relative. Actually, we could set this to relative, so every time we hit the 5, we just keep adding 5 more lives to our characters. So that might be something we can try. Let's try that out. Hit relative, OK, OK, Command S to save. Let's test that. Okay, so we purposely only have 1 life left. Hit the 5, our lives go up to 6, 11, 16, 21, 26. I now have 31 lives. So I can purposely Okay, that works really well. So those are a couple of really great cheat codes that'll help us debug the program. Let's go ahead and add an enemy ship. We're going to start by creating a sprite for our enemy ship. Let's go ahead and hit create sprite, and this is going to be SPR enemy, and we'll go ahead and load that sprite. There it is. We're going to set that up to center, but we're going to actually have it fire from right underneath because it's going to be shooting down on us as it flies by. So let's set that up there, and we'll click OK. Okay, we're now going to create a new object, and this is going to be OBJ enemy, and that's going to be the enemy sprite. Click OK. And now the same way we created the SPR photon, we're going to create a new sprite, but this will be the enemy laser blast. So we're going to create a sprite, edit sprite, and we're going to zoom in on this. This time we're going to create a rounded rectangle. We'll have a yellow fill for this one, and we'll go with a red stroke. We'll accept that. Okay. And we're going to call this SPR enemy laser. We also want to edit that sprite. We want this also to be animated. So once we have created that, let's go to animation, shrink, center. Let's do that for 25 frames. Show that in preview. Go ahead and save that. Okay. Now we create the object. There's enemy laser. Select the sprite, and OK. We want the flight of the enemy UFO to be triggered when 5 small meteors are shot. So the speed and sound of the ship will be set inside the object properties of the ship itself. So we're going to go ahead and open up Properties window for OBJ enemy UFO. We're going to add a new event, create. The speed horizontal we're going to drag into the action column. This is going to be applied to self and at a speed of 7. It's not going to be relative. We'll click OK. So let's go create a sound real quick. Go OK. I just so happen to have a sound out here for the enemy UFO. I'll start that with SND enemy. We'll load the sound. And I think it's the spaceship. Let's see if this is the right one. Yeah, that's the one I'm looking for. So click on open. We'll go ahead and save that. OK. And now I can go back to enemy UFO. In this create, main 1, we'll drag out the sound enemy. The loop will be false. Click OK. We're going to go to control, and we will set a new variable. This is going to apply to other, and this is going to be variable argument 1. And this value is going to be set to 0. This is going to reset the enemy ship to 0 once it flies by, so we'll have another enemy ship fly by once we shoot 5 more small meteors. Click OK. Okay, we're going to add another event. This is going to be other and outside room, because remember, once that enemy ship flies outside the room, we want to make sure that it is destroyed. So we're going to go to main 1, drag destroy instance. That's going to apply to self, and OK. And OK again. Let's go ahead and open up OBJ Photon. We're going to go with the collide with OBJ Meteor Small. We're going to drag set variable from control. We're going to set the variable dialog to apply to other. And we're going to set the variable to argument 1. And we're going to set the value to 1. And this will be relative. Click OK. We're now going to grab the test variable. This also is set to other. Variable is argument 1. And argument 1 value is set to 5. Okay. We go to main 1. We're going to drag create instance. And this is where we create our enemy ship. Other, OBJ enemy. X is going to be 0 because it's going to start on the far left side of the screen. Y is going to be 160. That's going to set it 160 pixels down from the top of the screen. And we do not check relative. Click OK. Let's go ahead and save our work, and we will test the game. So Command S. Let's go ahead and freeze our meteors. We are going to need to get a few more small meteors out here. Let's go ahead and blow up a medium size here. Option again. Here we go. that's it for this episode. In the next episode, we will have the enemy ship firing back at us. Thank you for watching.